Chapter 702, The Half-Saint Avatar. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Chi Hong immediately sat cross-legged, clasped his hands, and put them to his chest. Then, a sacred mark appeared between his eyebrows. As the sacred mark constantly rotated, a mass of white sacred brilliance emitted out and enveloped his body to dispel the death chi. The death chi contained in the elixir was limited, so Chi Hong gradually suppressed it inside his body as he mobilized the half-saint's light. How powerful a half-saint is! Zhang Yuochen changed his expression. The death chi in the elixir was powerful enough to bring a violent death to 10 monks at the 9th change in the fish-dragon realm in an instant. However, Chi Hong was so incredibly powerful that he could force out the current of evil chi. Before Chi Hong completely forced out the death chi, Zhang Yuochen had to kill him. Sword 1. Zhang Yuochen held the golden snake divine rapier and integrated with the sword. He changed into a golden light shuttle and thrust at Chi Hong. Lin Yue, you might underestimate a half-saint too much. Given your feeble cultivation, I can kill you with a single hair. Chi Hong let out a sonorous sound using spiritual power instead of his mouth. Abyss spirits, kill that man. Just then, a white holy sword flew at Zhang Yuochen from the sacred mark between Chi Hong's eyebrows. The white holy sword was called Abyss Spirits. It was Chi Hong's natal sword and had been following him for 160 years. Chi Hong injected an abundance of holy chi into the Abyss Spirits' holy sword. As long as the holy chi had not been exhausted, the sword spirit of the holy sword could voluntarily launch attacks against enemies. Bang! The Abyss Spirit's holy sword sent forth a dazzling sword radiance. With a brandish of the sword, a 10-meter-long sword chi was formed and sent Zhang Yuochen flying through the air. As for the attacking force, a holy sword was far superior to a monk at the 9th change in the fish-dragon realm. It had the power to kill Zhang Yuochen. The sword spirit let out a sound again. Junior, take another one of my strikes. Swish, swish. More than 300 currents of sword chi rushed out from the Abyss Spirit's holy sword and formed a howling sword chi storm that rushed at Zhang Yuochen. The chaotic sword chi left thickly dotted sword marks on the ground as if the entire hill would be razed to the ground. At the center of the sword chi storm, the Abyss Spirit's holy sword became more than 30 meters long and as wide as a door plank, and it contained cataclysmic power. This was a very formidable power, which was comparable to that of Wu Yanghuan's blue sky demon handprint. Zhang Yuochen immediately opened the yin-yang wooden graph, which turned into a huge scroll, to try to take away the Abyss Spirit's holy sword. The Abyss Spirit's holy sword was highly intelligent and could feel the force of the yin-yang wooden graph. It immediately shot up into the sky and escaped, instead of confronting the yin-yang wooden graph head-on. Soon afterward, a deep voice rang out. A man laughed while saying, "Good boy, you have such an important treasure. Since that's the case, I'll kindly accept it." Chi Hong still sat cross-legged on the ground. Then, a translucent shadow came out of him, stood up directly, and took a step forward. It condensed into a man that was the same as Chi Hong. It looked like a spirit was freeing itself from his body. The half-saint avatar. As his face fell, Zhang Yuochen unfolded the dragon wings on his back without hesitation and escaped into the distance at top speed. The half-saint avatar had a part of the half-saint's power, so Zhang Yuochen was unable to defeat it now. Although the shooting star invisible cloak was taken away by Chi Hong, Zhang Yuochen would still have a chance to take it back in the future as long as he remained alive. Is the man from the Divine Dragon human clan? Seeing the pair of dragon wings on Zhang Yuochen's back, Chi Hong's avatar looked confused. Subsequently, it reached out an arm to retrieve the Abyss Spirit's holy sword and then hastily pursued Zhang Yuochen. Zhang Yuochen looked back and discovered Chi Hong's avatar getting closer and closer. The two of them flew with one chasing and the other escaping. Along the way, they had fought 4 times, and Zhang Yuochen narrowly escaped every time. Zhang Yuochen, things are bad. We've had nowhere to go while facing just an avatar. If Chi Hong completely forces out the death chi and catches up to us, we'll have no way to survive, Blackie said. Blackie had already come out of Zhang Yuochen's sleeves and stood on his shoulder. He constantly rendered inscriptions of array and struck out backward to hinder the speed of Chi Hong's avatar. The time is not yet ripe. Until the time is correct, I'll send the avatar off to the void by using the power of space." Zhang Yuochen gritted his teeth with a cold expression in his eyes. He had no alternatives. With his current cultivation, he was able to kill the half-saint avatar by using the power of time and space. In order to avoid having his identity exposed, Zhang Yuochen only had one chance to attack, so he had to be very cautious. He escaped roughly 2,000 miles. Zhang Yuochen broke into a strange area that had black soil on the barren ground. Furthermore, there was no heaven and earth spiritual chi around, neither in the sky nor underground. That meant that once a monk burst in, the genuine chi inside would be exhausted. He could not absorb any heaven and earth spiritual chi to make up for the physical depletion, so he would become weaker and weaker. It was the first time that Zhang Yuochen had seen such a weird place. In the Fallen Gods mountain range, there were many ancient relics and forbidden areas. In some regions, even if one was a saint, it would be dangerous. Right now, the area that Zhang Yuochen broke into was probably a relic. Blackie jumped down from Zhang Yuochen's shoulder, fell to the ground, and smelled using his nose. He smelled blood in the soil and said, "How ancient this aura is. Is this place a medieval relic?" Zhang Yuochen slowed down, not daring to run on. He used his sky eye to look into the distance. Beyond 300 meters, a black cloud rose up from the earth. The cloud was in the form of a group of ferocious-looking devils. It contained strong yin chi and blocked the light of the sky eye. "I feel that there is a murderous breath there. Once I break into this place, I will probably die without a burial place." Zhang Yuochen looked solemn as he perceived considerable danger. When he was about to retreat, he turned back and discovered that Chi Hong's avatar had caught up to him and was suspended more than 30 meters above the ground. Chi Hong's avatar sneered and said in a condescending tone, "Lin Yue, if you give me the scroll, I will consider sparing your life." Zhang Yuochen pretended to be calm as he said with a smile, "Really? Shall I thank you for your kindness to spare my life? Don't refuse a toast only to drink to a forfeit." The avatar turned somber, raised its palm, mobilized a current of holy chi, and struck out quickly. Cloud-tearing palm strike. It was a really amazing ghost-level martial technique. The power displayed by a half-saint avatar would naturally be stronger than that displayed by a monk in the fish-dragon realm. Zhang Yuochen performed Sword 2 and soared up into the sky and fiercely collided with the cloud-tearing palm strike. Even with Sword 2, it was difficult for him to break through the strong palm power. In the end, Zhang Yuochen was struck 300 meters away and fell into the depths of a medieval relic. Zhang Yuochen supported himself on the ground with one hand and held the hilt with his other hand. Blood was pouring out of his mouth, but he was tough-minded. He secretly released the space domain, covering an area with a 5-kilometer radius. Chi Hong's avatar did not want to kill Zhang Yuochen immediately. Rather, it wanted to capture him alive. It planned to search for something from his memory by using soul-searching occult. Just because it had this attitude, Zhang Yuochen had a chance to survive. "Junior, do you still want to struggle desperately?" "To be honest, I forced out the evil chi and I'm on my way right now. Do you think that it's necessary to keep fighting?" Chi Hong's avatar descended to the ground, walked over to Zhang Yuochen, and sneered. Like a judge, it held the Abyss Spirit's holy sword and stabbed at Zhang Yuochen's chi between his eyebrows. Zhang Yuochen had a weird smile on his face as he moved his finger forward. Swoosh. Just then, the space in front of him warped violently. The Abyss Spirit's holy sword had originally been going against Zhang Yuochen. Suddenly, that became reversed and it went against Chi Hong's avatar. Chi Hong's avatar was a little surprised because it had never seen that before. Without any thought, it immediately retreated. After Zhang Yuochen performed space collapse, the space behind Chi Hong's avatar fractured and changed into a giant hole, 33 meters in diameter. Boom! A strong devouring force came out of the fractured space, which was like the eye of a storm. It formed a huge energy vortex to take away Chi Hong's avatar and Abyss Spirit's holy sword. This is the power of space. At the last moment, Chi Hong's avatar came to its senses. It widened its eyes and stared at Zhang Yuochen as if it were seeing a ghost. Huff. A moment later, Chi Hong's avatar and Abyss Spirit's holy sword were both torn to pieces by the fractured space. The power of space was able to destroy everything. When Chi Hong's avatar and Abyss Spirit's holy sword shattered, Chi Hong, 800 miles away, fled from the corner of his mouth while a stream of blood rose up in his throat as if he had been punched. How can this be? Lin Yue is able to destroy my avatar and my natal sword. What on earth happened? Normally, a man could perceive everything that his avatar experienced. Perhaps the avatar had been killed in a flash, so he was unable to send messages back to the actual man in time. Whether it was an avatar or the natal sword, once they were destroyed, Chi Hong would suffer enormous trauma. Even if he took panaceas, he would spend at least 1 year to fully recover. Chi Hong was very irritated and flew forward even faster.